Good evening, meteorologist Bob here for you with a tropical update for Tuesday, September 6, 2011. A lot of action out there in the tropics today. Just going to go over this map real quickly here. This is the 8 p.m. September 6th tropical weather outlook here by the National Hurricane Center. So I'll show you what we have. We have newly formed Tropical Depression 14, and I'll be closing in on all these areas here in a minute. So newly formed Tropical Depression 14. We have Hurricane Category 2 Hurricane Katia out here. It's going to move between North Carolina, Outer Banks, and Bermuda. And then we have newly formed Invest 96L, an area of broad area of low pressure here along in the southern Gulf. You remember the as we call it, the tail of Lee here has now going to spin up a system here in the Bay of Campeche. Hurricane hunters are scheduled to investigate this system tomorrow if needed, so we'll have to see about that. Another area here, only a 10% formation. I don't really see anything developing with this at all. So really we're going to focus on, with this outlook, we're going to focus on Tropical Depression 14, Katia, and Invest 96L. Our next names are Maria and Nate, so either we're going to get Maria from Tropical Depression 14 or Invest 96L, or Nate, or vice versa. One of these is going to be Maria and one of them will be Nate, and we'll have to see which one will come first. Okay, so Katia, Category 2 hurricane now, after strengthening pretty briskly and rapidly over the weekend to a Category 4 hurricane, our first Category 4 hurricane in the tropical Atlantic this season. Went through an eye wall replacement cycle, say that 10 times fast, during the day today, and has really now has really found that drier air. You remember a few days ago, about 3-4 days ago, I was talking about this drier air here that would be situated here in the western Atlantic. Well, this eye wall replacement cycle went through. It's found that dry air and now has weakened, and it'll probably slowly weaken, probably stay about steady state the next 24 hours or so, and then slowly weaken as it makes its way up between Bermuda and North Carolina here. Effects for the East Coast will only be rough seas, high surf, a little bit of beach erosion, staying well east of the United States here. And then, of course, for our friends here in Canada, for Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, again, it's going to be a pretty big gale center once it gets up in here, so you guys might actually feel the worst of Katia than anybody here, with some rough seas and some stronger winds and some rainfall here. But again, well east of the United States, so the rain bands will stay far enough east and will not affect anybody. And we could thank Lee for this, because you remember I was a little worried. My 7-day outlook 7 days ago did say this was going to go between Bermuda and the United States, so pretty happy with that forecast. But about 3-4 days ago, I was a little concerned about Lee. I was like, if Lee was going to hang back here, it might have brought Katia in a little closer, but Lee lifted out like a good boy he was, and created this this nice trough here along the East Coast to send Katia out to sea. And if you look at Katia this evening, you can see not as well defined as it was yesterday. Some of that dry air is really eating away at the western side here of the system. And again, Katia will be steady state the next 24 hours or so, and then slowly weaken. And there's good old what's left of Lee, becoming a big old cut off low pressure system here. Still some tornado watches here across the mid-Atlantic today. Some rainfall where we really don't need it here, where Irene's rainfalls came. But again, this is helping to lift Katia out to sea this way. And again, we could thank Lee for this. Newly formed Tropical Depression 14 is next on the agenda here. You can see halfway between the Leeward and Windward Islands and the Cape Verde Islands. Way out here in the central Atlantic. Maximum sustained winds 35, movement west-northwest at 18. Here's the official forecast track by the National Hurricane Center. Possibly bringing to a hurricane as it gets closer to the islands over the weekend. Those in the Leeward and Windward Islands will have to watch this system carefully as we get closer to the weekend here to see what we have as far as the system goes. And this is the official forecast track. This is out 5 days. Beyond 5 days, I'll show you some of the possibilities here with Tropical Depression 14. Latest satellite view, you can see very well defined, organized system. Nice circular motion here, convection trying to build near the center. This system's going to have a little trouble the next few days as there's some shear here. You can see by the clouds moving quickly off here. It's going to run into some shear the next couple days, so I don't see this system really exploding with development. And that could keep it on a little more of a westward than a west-northwest track towards the islands. We'll have to watch that and see how weak it stays. The Euro model keeps this system rather weak, and that is due to this shear. If we look at the shear maps here, you can see there's this tut feature right in here, this trough here, and this is going to be creating some 20 knot shear here as the system moves west-northwest. And this is going to be involved in this system next couple of days. So again, I don't see explosive development with this system. Conditions will get better as it nears the islands over the weekend. And again, you can see this trough actually starting to dig a little farther south. And this is going to create that shear here out ahead of TD14. And just to note, look at all this dry air that Lee brought down. I mean, this is fall below normal temperatures, a nice relief from summer. Of course, not good for Texas and the fires, but as far as the rest of the Gulf Coast, just beautiful weather behind Lee here. Really dry fall-like conditions. And where will TD14 go? You can see pretty much in the next 3 to 4 days, it's a west-northwest move. And then we'll have to see, again, down the road, there's going to be this weakness here between what Katia brought and what Lee is here is going to hang this weakness out over the East Coast. TD14 will come up this way eventually. Almost has an Irene feel to the track a little bit right now. It's not going to be as far east as Katia. It's definitely going to be farther west than Katia was, but is it going to be a close call for the East Coast? Is this thing going to just keep trucking west and stay weaker? So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, but it's definitely going to come closer than Katia did to the United States. Could almost be an Irene track, maybe even farther west. Just a lot of uncertainty right now in the forecast. And again, if we look at the models, here's consensus right here. National Hurricane Center track is actually south of consensus, more with the Euro model, more with the HWRF and the GFDL right now. Here's the Canadian model, no gaps, and even the GFS is up in here. But National Hurricane Center is more with the is south of consensus right now, and again with the GFDL model and the Euro model right now. So very interesting there. Next 8 to 10 days, this is a 500 millibar height, and you can see we're still going to have this weakness here across the East Coast. So definitely whatever forms from TD14 is eventually going to come up. And again, where is it going to go? Is it going to move farther west? Is it going to go like Irene did? Where is it exactly going to go? It's hard to say this far out. All right, Invest 96L. This is what I call the tail of Lee here. It's kind of sitting down here in the Bay of Campeche. If you look close enough, you almost could make out maybe a little spin trying to develop here. This storm's going to be interesting because it could actually just get stuck down here and move west into Mexico and be done with it. Or it could develop a little farther north, maybe develop a little stronger, a little quicker, and then head northward. Kind of two possibilities there with this system. It's going to be one to watch over the weekend. Again, if you look at the steering map here, not much steering going on. It could just sit down in this Bay of Campeche and go nowhere. This high pressure will shift just slightly east, and that could just kind of bring it west. Or does it spin up quickly and get caught up in this trough here along the East Coast and eject northward? Two possibilities. Hard to say which one's right or wrong at the moment. Models not much help early here, showing not much going on. Here is the GFS model for the next 6 days. I'm not going to go out past 6 days, but if you look, we'll put this back into motion here. First, let's look at TD14. So here it comes. Again, not much development here with TD14, and I don't expect this really to explode. Like I said, it might get better organized as it gets closer to the islands. There's just a lot of that shear out ahead of it right now. And you can see the GFS model starts finding that weakness here that's going to be lying along the East Coast. And exactly where this comes in here. Is it going to be more like this? Is it going to be taking Irene path? Is it going to move farther west? Those are the uncertainties right now. My feeling is it comes a little farther west than Katia, and it could be a threat to the United States in about 8 to 9 days from now. We'll have to see. Again, long way off. And then GFS, let's look at what it does with our Invest 96L here. Again, this is going towards the end of the week, and then into the weekend here, it starts spinning it up and then west. See? Kind of gets stuck down there. But if you look at the Euro model, a little different here. You see, watch. First we'll watch our TD number 14 here. Again, not getting very strong. Brings it west right into the islands, then over Hispaniola, and then eventually still keeping it weak near the Bahamas. And then where does it go from here? It's kind of a weak system. Doesn't do much with it. Again, depending on how strong or weak it is. But again, it's the general feel of TD14. Will it be this? Will it be that? Will it come farther west? And again, our system here in the Gulf, it spins it up and heads it right north, right towards Mobile, Biloxi area. And then just like that, it finds this weakness here that's going to be sitting up in here. So two ways that this system could go, whether this is Maria or Nate, or this is Maria or Nate. But again, our Gulf system this weekend is one to watch for, especially for the northern Gulf Coast. It could ruin another weekend plans here for you folks. So we'll have to see. Does it stay down and stay west, or does it go north? Well, that's it for my update tonight. I'll try to... My updates aren't coming as quickly as I would like. Life's just busy, but I'll try to get them out at least every day or every other day. You can follow me on Facebook, Robert, ACANFRIO. And you could look at my blog on weatherunderground.com. Have a good day.